Hey there, folks. This is Michael Veazey, just going live to all the various socials. Just a quick one from me. I today took an Amazon parcel back to the post office to get a return done. My wife's been shopping away using my Amazon Prime account, and something turned up that wasn't the right size bottle. It was the right product, wrong size. Here's my reflections on this, and I think it's really important to think like a consumer, because what happens as a marketer is you start editing a web page on a browser on a laptop, and you take minute care over all the details. Whereas when you shop, you get your mobile out, you scroll very, very quickly through results, you see something that has 5 stars, you click on it, you click buy now, and it's done. So the way we behave as consumers is so different from the way we start thinking if we're not careful as marketers and sellers. And today was an example of just why Amazon's so amazing. Amazon, for starters, my wife's ordering tons of stuff on my Amazon Prime account these days. Not even sure what it all is. It all comes through. I get email notifications and I just kind of ignore it. The number of errors that Amazon has made is incredibly small. Amazon's very, very accurate. If you're ever unfortunate enough to use certain services out there, I'm trying to think whether I should name them. I'm going to name a couple. Well, for example, the post office, if you're in the UK, or Hermes, the winged messenger of the gods, allegedly, but not if you're using Hermes parcel service. Those are a couple of guys that do some delivery if you're unfortunate enough to have to do that in the UK. You use those guys, and then you come back to me and tell me that Amazon isn't great at delivery. It's incredible. It's accurate. It's fast. It's amazing. Today was just another example when I had to do the return. I looked through my orders list. I found by the way, this is not me teaching how to do a return. I'm not here to teach Amazon consumers how to use Amazon. I found my order. I scrolled through, I clicked on a couple of buttons, and then it said, yeah, you can use a participating post office near you. Just scan the QR code. So I went in there expecting complication. I literally had the Amazon packet that stuff was in. All I'd done to prepare for this great moment was I had sealed it with a piece of sellotape. That's it. And I went in there, and the lady tried to scan the QR code. She said, oh, you need to put your phone brightness on higher. So it was one little glitch. I put the phone brightness higher. She scanned it, and then she took the parcel off me, and I looked at her, kind of sounded a bit dumb because I've never done it before. And I said, is that it? She said, yeah. And I've just looked now, I've just got an email, and that money has been refunded to the account because we wanted a refund, not a replacement. I'm like, how quick, easy is that? Using my existing local infrastructure, I didn't even have to put the cost of a stamp on it or any other things. I didn't have to, and this is why Amazon's super smart. I didn't have to contact the seller and go through anything. I didn't actually contact any customer service reps at all. I didn't email anyone. I didn't have to phone anyone. I didn't have to go on a chat. God knows how annoying that is. I didn't have to jump through hoops. All the hoops were jumped through for me by other actors. So the post office system that's been integrated with Amazon, literally the only thing I needed to do was go into my Amazon account and deal with the almost self-explanatory system. Now, could it be better? Yes, because I wasn't quite certain if I knew I needed to do something different. That's why I stood there looking a bit dumb, like, you scanned my QR code, now what? Do I have to write a name on it or anything? But my goodness, what an amazing system Amazon has created for the consumer. So that's my reflection as a consumer. So now reflections for me as a marketer. First of all, that sort of service just renews my not just faith in, but amazement with Amazon as an incredible customer experience. Every single other retail experience, online or offline, I've had, except for really high-end retail with very good customer service by an owner-occupier of a business. Owner-manager, I should say. Every other experience has been subpar compared to that. So Amazon has created an incredible machine that delights customers. If you are bitching and moaning about selling on Amazon, I totally get you. I'm with you. We've all experienced horrendous things: account suspension, listing suspension, charges that keep going up. But we have to remember what an amazing machine we're plugging into. I think otherwise, why bother? Second thing is, if you're going to try and get off that machine, you've got to recreate that experience to a level that is quite close to that, because Amazon has now created an experiential barrier, or it's the yardstick that we as consumers, myself included, use as an expectation setting. Wow, it's a high expectation. Third point, in relation to that, if you're thinking of using a third-party logistics or 3PL system, then be wary. If you're going to plug it into Amazon system and do merchant fulfilled network or seller fulfilled prime, first of all, if you don't have the seller fulfilled prime badge, then you aren't going to get ranked as well by Amazon. And that seems entirely fair to me, because I'm quite, unless you've got an extraordinary system, you are not going to hit those levels of delivery and that customer service experience. In terms of accuracy and speed alone, right? Never mind returns and other details. The other thought is, if you do sell a fulfilled prime, you are setting yourself up for very high expectations, and your third-party logistics better be amazing. Obviously, a third party is going to introduce extra costs in the system, and it's very tempting to shop on price for that. I would urge you, if you do sell on Amazon and you have a need to fulfill via a third-party service, to be incredibly selective, get people who really get Amazon, and yes, the numbers have got to work. You've got to have profit left, of course, and we live in very challenging times on the supply side, cost side, the inflationary environment, all the rest of it. But your Amazon account getting suspended is going to just stop all sales, screech to a halt, and it is a risk to your future ability to trade at all if most of your sales go through Amazon, which for many e-commerce operators they do. In many cases, all of them, or 90%. So, in that situation, I would urge you to be very, very selective with who you work with a third-party logistics supplier. A lot of the mastermind members have gone through various, jumped through a few hoops to try and work with people that they trust. It's not easy. There are good people out there. I'm not going to recommend particular names of most of the companies. One company I will mention by name, though, is Eva, which is increasingly focusing on this part of the system. And the reason that they're interesting is that they're developing, as I speak, in late April 2022, a system for integrating their very, very clever analytics and price management and stock projection tools into their third-party warehouses that they're now building out. Now, sort of intelligent data-led system that can make sure you know what's going on with your stock and integrates with your pricing strategy. Let's put it in simple terms. If you're running out of stock, you tend to put your price up. That's what most of us do, right? In the primitive level. There is a sophisticated version of that. That to me looks very interesting. So that's like a next level of third-party logistics supplier. And I'm excited to see how that pans out. I know they've got a month or two to go on that, so I'll give them a special mention. Other than that, there's quite a lot of people out there who are very competent, and quite a lot of people who claim competence but don't get it right. On a different platform, but the same issue, I had a client recently who got a Bol account suspended, so the sort of Dutch equivalent to Amazon. Of course, Amazon is now in the Netherlands, but he's been doing very, very well on Bol, and they suspended this account based on a third-party logistics supplier who he checked out very, very thoroughly, to be fair to him, but they were relatively new to the game in a particular geographical area of Europe, just outside the Netherlands. So they messed up because they were new to the game. They hadn't got a tried and tested system, and there was a sort of break in the system. And now, with hindsight, he could see where the problem was, and they've reinstated, they've got the account reinstated. But third-party logistics people are a risk because Amazon is just incredible and hard to beat. Bol also, I think, does a great job. Some other places, I think Cdiscount also, as a marketplace, has its own in-house logistics capability. And the great thing is, from the seller's point of view, if you use the third party, if you use an in-house logistics of Amazon FBA and they do mess up a delivery, they will eat the cost and take the blame. The same if you're selling on Bol and you use Fulfilled by Bol or whatever the Dutch is, and the same if you're selling on somewhere like Cdiscount, anyone who has their own fulfillment capability. So it's much safer for your account. But coming back to the customer experience again, last thought. The best customer service, as Jeff Bezos has said, is no customer service. So in a way, I've experienced an incredible experience. So it's the customer experience, if you will, or customer service has been done, but 100% automated. I spoke to a lady at the post office in order to hand my parcel over. I dare say you could probably drop it off in an Amazon return bin or something like that, which I haven't explored. But that was the only human interaction, and friendly lady, and I had to queue for a couple of minutes. But on the Amazon side, I did not have to contact anyone and wait for manually a person to get back to me in any form, email, text, chat. God forbid I should have to get into chat. Relative to my other customer service experiences where I've had a problem or had to cancel things, it's refreshingly, how can I put this? I just want the result. I don't want a big interaction. I don't want to be chatty to somebody. If I have to talk to somebody, I want them to be polite and responsive, but I don't really want to talk to somebody. I just want the problem solved and the money back in my account, and then it's done, and I'm off to do the next thing in my long list of stuff to do. And that's true for all consumers everywhere. Everyone feels busy, even if they aren't. They feel their time's important, partly because they've been trained by Amazon to do that. And my question to you as an e-commerce operator, a couple of things. First of all, how can you eliminate customer service? By making a slick, robust, precise system that just works if there's a problem, that deals with things fairly automatically. And if you are going to make it more manual, how can you make it as slick, smooth, reliable, and effortless as the experience that I had getting a refund out of Amazon as a consumer? Hope that's thought-provoking for you. I always find just the last meta reflection upon the reflection is that whenever I have a good e-commerce shopping experience, especially if I'm shopping on Amazon, whether it's shopping and browsing or returning an item or getting it delivered or opening the package up, a part of my brain in the fridge is just observing myself, and that's the inner marketer in me, is observing myself as the consumer and how I actually act. I find, catching myself acting as a consumer fascinating because my behaviors as a consumer are so quick and emotional and instinctive and intuitive, not overly thought through. And the art, I think, of creating a business that delights the consumer is to think through things very, very hard. Of course, we have to have a very thoughtful, mindful, sort of plodding construction of everything from sales pages, image work, all the way through the back-end systems if you're using them. And that includes liaising with logistics providers, of course. But here's the thing. We must never lose track of what the end consumer's behavior is. And the slicker the systems get, the quicker that is, and the more subtle it is to pass out how it works. But I believe we should never lose track of that, because that is the thing that is the difference between success and failure. Micromanaging your fifth bullet point will not work if your main image looks horrific and doesn't communicate, or even it looks quite good but doesn't communicate the main point that differentiates your products from all the other ones that appear on the search engine. For example, if you're massively overpriced for what you're providing or for what you can communicate that you're providing, you won't get the click, and so on and so on. So a lot of life comes down to, in the end, a simple difference done at speed by the consumer, and we need to go and figure out how to deliver that as the business owners, rather than getting caught up in how to solve a problem and forgetting who is going to be consuming that solution at the other end, and whether they actually care about it and what they care about that you're not doing. Hope that's some use. Always find this stuff fascinating. Again, Amazon is just, they've built an incredible machine for satisfying consumers. It never fails to amaze me. As a third-party seller, and as my clients as third-party sellers, I often feel pretty sore about Amazon every so often, and that's understandable, but this is a fantastic reminder of why it's worth getting involved with Amazon in the first place. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy these little chats, then do make some comments in the videos and various different channels we're in. We're also on Twitter, which is now, perhaps thanks to Elon Musk, become a more vibrant place again than it has been. So do make some comments and get engaged, because that will encourage me to produce more content if you find it useful. Thanks very much, folks. Speak to you soon.